All right, guys, I am back with a brand new movie review. And today's review is going to be a fun one. So, I just got back from seeing The Equalizer 3, starring none other than Denzel Washington. And an interesting fact about the Equalizer movies: these are the only sequels that Denzel Washington has ever done. And Anton Fuqua is the director of all three films. He is back at the helm of this one. And to kind of give you an idea of how I rank the films, the first Equalizer is a 5-star film. Like, I absolutely love, and I mean love, the first Equalizer film. Second one was okay, not on the level of the first, but I would give it 3.5 stars. This film, you're going to have to wait till the end to find out what I rate it. And I am going to keep this as spoiler-free as possible. I want people to be able to go in and enjoy this movie for what it is without being spoiled by someone like me giving you all the secrets of the film. Robert McCall is back, and he is the cure for cancer. All right, this film starts out with a bang. It has a pretty cool sequence at the beginning of the film, and then something at the end of that sequence sends Robert McCall on a journey that leads to the rest of the film. And this is supposedly the final film in the series. I think they said they are done after this one, and this was an interesting story. He ends up, after the beginning of the film, ends up in Italy, and he decides to settle down, but can't really settle down because there is basically a group of Italian mafia that have taken over the city. He's never been there before or lived there, and he finds out that all the good people are being basically strong-armed by this specific Italian mafia. And he has to take care of business like he did in the other films. Now, this movie, he is definitely, there's a new character involved, played by Dakota Fanning. And I'm not going to tell you how it's all related. You'll see in the film. It's a very good, interesting dynamic that the two have together, where some of the actual humor in the film comes. And I don't normally like humor in the movie, but the way they did it in this film is how you do humor. And it was really well done in the scenes where they had to interact with each other. And the director, Antoine, said that this is an unofficial sequel to Man on Fire. Now, can't really be a sequel to Man on Fire because obviously what happened at the end of the film, but you get that feeling between the two characters again in this movie, and it's really well done. Not going to tell you what her role is in the film. You will see in the movie. This movie, let's talk about the music first. I'm a music guy. I love the score. I love the score in this film. I will tell you that one of the things that made the first movie for me was that Home Depot scene, and there was a song that was played at the beginning that really got you pumping. They haven't been able to recreate that in any of the films, but the score in this film was way better than what we got in the second film, and there were some sequences in here that definitely trumped anything they did in the second film and were really well and more visceral than what they did in the first movie. The first movie was more meticulous. This one was not quite as meticulous. In fact, this film, with the violence, was way more gratuitous. So be aware of that going in, that this is not for kids, and that they definitely go a little more hardcore with it here, but not out of character, okay? I went and saw this with my good friend, my best friend out here where I live, and he made a comment at the end that there was something a little out of character for Denzel Washington's character. I'm not going to tell you guys what it is. You'll see in the film. But I don't think it was really out of character. I think if you've seen the other two films and you see what happens in this film, you totally understand where he was coming from with his motivations. So Denzel Washington does an amazing job as Robert McCall. He's back in full force in this film, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I will tell you right now that this is my favorite film of 2023. It's got a perfect 5 stars. I did not see anything in this film that I would change or pick apart. It's a really well thought out story. I think a few of the things in the story were a little too convenient, but outside of a few convenience things, this was a thoroughly entertaining movie. And it's gripping from the opening sequence all the way until the end. Like you definitely, there was never a moment in this film where I felt bored or was looking at my watch to see what time it was. One time I did look at my watch to see if I had any messages, and I couldn't believe that the movie was almost over. I was like, holy crap. And this movie is 2 hours and 15 minutes long, so it's not a short film. But the pacing is perfect. Like, this was well done. Now, do I like it more than the first film? There's something about that first film that really grabs me. Now, I give them both 5 stars. But these are good complement films. I try to compare it with, like, you talk about Alien versus Aliens. I had this conversation with somebody the other day. Personally, if I only had one or the other to watch again, I would watch the first one. Same with Alien versus Aliens. But they're different types of films. This is no different. Yes, he's the Equalizer. He is back. He's doing what he needs to do. And it's pretty freaking awesome. There's some pretty intense sequences in this film. And I think anybody who goes to see this and is wondering if it's worth their time, their money, to go back and see this character one more time, oh yeah, it is. So if you guys have seen it, let me know what your thoughts are down below. And we will see you with the next movie review.